in three, two, one. Hello, and welcome to episode 19 of Cast of Strong Style. I'm your host, Don Delarente, and I'm joined once again by my special, but this time more on a permanent basis, the third man, if you will, Anwar Starwin. What's going on, Anwar?
Hi.
You're being promoted off the bench into the starting rotation for a little while.
I'm fine with it. I'll keep the seat warm.
All right. We want to give a big shout out to the starting co-host, Megamoto.
First player.
She's gonna take an excursion for a little while, but when she comes back, of course, she'll be getting a push right back to her spot. But instead of a two-person group, it'll be a three-person group. So be on the lookout for that in future episodes. So, Anwar, thank you for sitting in and taking a chance with me and becoming more of a permanent fixture here on Cast of Strong Style. Really appreciate your opinions, your thoughts, and hopefully we can continue to make Moto proud and smile while she's out there, you know, doing her thing. Big shout out to Moto.
Yep. Yep.
All right, so Cast of Strong Style can be found on CSPN. You can find that on the web at www.cspn.us. We can also be found on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, and Google Play. You can also
Ooh.
follow the podcast Twitter account at Cast Strong Style. And you can follow Anwar Starwin on Twitter at Anwar Starwin. And you can follow me on Twitter at Don Delarente. And you can give Moto a follow at JBK Moto. Also, use the hashtag Cast of Strong Style when you live tweet either through New Japan World or Access TV. So, Anwar, Dominion came. It was great. It was epic. I saw a hot take after the show that it might have been the greatest pay per view ever.
Woo! I'm not going there, but I can understand if you feel like that.
Yes, yes, yes. I was like, hey, WrestleMania 17 would like to say something to you, but okay. But anyway, so we're gonna get right into it as we had an IWGP Junior Tag Team Title match as Desperado and Kanemaru defended against Roppongi 3K, Show and Yo. Show hits the power bomb into the backstabber, and Desperado gets a breaking Desperado in half and getting a great near fall. Show looks for the shock arrow, but Desperado counters. We get a ref bump, whiskey bottle shot by Kanemaru, and the champions retain their title.
I kind of feel like I enjoyed this match, but I didn't love it because they probably could have saved this show for one of the road shows coming up on Kazuna Road and actually gave it more time to be a better match. But this is what the spot they were given, and they did the best what they could. They got their stuff in, they kept it moving, and they kept it on the heel, guys. So I can't really get mad because Despy's one of my favorite people in that division, and it's just gonna be interesting to see where Roppongi 3K goes from this. Maybe they need to be more heelish instead of like nice. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, they were trying to turn up the aggression a little bit. Kevin Kelly, if you were listening to the English commentary, he even said that they're trying to find that line between being aggressive but not being quote unquote dirty.
I mean, yeah, I get that, but really, Chaos is a heel faction. People need to realize that. I mean, they could do both because they're not stagnated with they adjust to how the crowd reacts to them too. So they're really heels, dude. I mean, if one guy want to be the straight guy in the group and one be the one who pushes things to the other level to cheat, I ain't gonna be mad at that because that's life. Sometimes your brother do the great thing, you do the bad thing, but as long as you win, who cares?
So about getting to the pay window, huh?
Heck yeah.
Well, Juice Robinson and David Finlay, they got to the pay window versus Jay White and Yoshihashi. Juice
Mhm.
Robinson, he hit the Pulp Fiction and he pinned Jay White. Then Juice posed with the U.S. title. So it has been announced at the Long Beach show that Jay White will be defending against Juice Robinson. So that should be fun.
It should be fun. Hopefully, they don't put him in that semifinal spot where they could die, because that was the mistake what they did last time with Switchblade and Hangman. They had a really good match, but the crowd is so exhausted or just ready for the main event that they didn't get the energy that they were deserving for the level of match they had. So hopefully, they're put in a better position to like succeed. But people kind of love Juice and been watching him grow, so that element of fandom is going to be there for him. I don't know how that match is going to end because it seems like the guy that Juice has to ultimately overcome to crack through that mid card is Goto. That's what it feels like, but this could be just a nice little short interim because in the long run they got to have bigger plans for a Switchblade. So eventually he's going to have to come up that U.S. title. So I don't really know. I expect Switchblade to like win that match, but I don't know. But this props is Juice because I always like seeing him just keep taking steps forward.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch Juice Robinson become, or AKA CJ Parker from his NXT days, become like a bona fide big deal. And people get excited and get on their feet when he comes out. So,
He literally fired himself so he could get better. A lot of
right.
people don't do it.
Yeah, he humbled himself. He became a young boy, even after
Yeah, that
having
takes a lot.
whatever years of experience in, NXT and WWE or whatever.
And he's better for it.
Yeah, yeah. Next up, we had Minoru Suzuki and Zack Sabre Jr. versus Yano and Ishii. Zack cuts Yano off with the Cobra Twist. Yano escapes and removes the buckle pad, and Zack cuts him off again with a European clutch for a 2 count. The backslide follows for 2. Zack then blocks the low blow. Suzuki cuts off Ishii as Zack taps out Yano. After the match, Suzuki and Ishii brawl, and then they kick the shit out of each other until the Young Lions separate them.
Man, this match on paper, you look at it, like, waste of time to watch this match. And then Ishii and Suzuki was so great through it. And the way that Ishii kept finding secret ways to cheap shot Suzuki was hilarious. Like that one spot where he just caught Suzuki slipping and he just tore him up. And then Suzuki tried to catch him, but like Ishii was like, nah, bro, I just did that to you. You're not gonna catch me like that. It was like, please let this be a setup for them having a one-on-one match for the Red Pro title or something in G1. Cause that was great. Cause in that spot they were not supposed to shine like that, but they did. And Zack is just awesome. So like I was the end of the match where he was having I think the post match comments. He was talking to Taka. He's like, "You coming with us to like England?" He's like, "I don't Taka like, I don't know. Come on, man, you got to go." I was like, I love the duo of Taka and Zack. Like Zack is doing a hell of a job this year. So I would like to see Zack and Suzuki eventually challenge for the tag titles in New Japan. That would be an interesting styles clash.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. Yeah, this was a really good match. This was one of the highlight matches for the undercard for sure. I love seeing Zack Sabre Jr. It had been a while since he had been on the card, so definitely a much needed, change of pace. Yano and Suzuki have, they have their little beef from back when Suzuki almost hung him, from a couple of months ago. So, and then Zack Sabre Jr. and Ishii, they have their little, time from what did Zack Sabre Jr. win? What was the tournament?
I think he beat him in the U.S.
Yeah.
Championship tournament.
Hmm.
Or was it Ishii? I think it was Ishii who beat him in the tournament.
Yeah, so they have that, from going back. So, that all these guys have history with each other. So it made for a really good match.
I love when the long term like booking actually connects and makes sense and why these people wouldn't get along or whatnot.
Hmm. Next up, another match that people didn't think would actually stand out, but actually kind of did. The never open weight title match. It was a three-way between Goto, Taichi, and Michael Elgin. We get a mic stand shot by Taichi to Elgin and Goto, but to both Elgin and Goto, and Taichi takes his time to celebrate. Taichi super kicks Goto, and then that gets a good near fall. We get a head kick to Goto, but Elgin cuts Taichi off and buckle bombs him. Elgin then power bombs Taichi into Goto, and the Elgin bomb finishes Taichi, and we have a new champion, Michael Elgin.
I I was surprised by this, but the way they set up that finish, it definitely opened up like opportunity in for like Goto to get a rematch because he's the champion. He lost the title, yes, but he didn't take the pin. So
Mm-hmm.
I liked how that was set up because it allowed for them to have another match down the road, which is going to happen on the road show, which is great. This match really surprised me. I was kind of like, I don't know about triple threats in New Japan too much or fatal four ways, but they all played their parts really well. And the part of the match that made me laugh, kind of smile, was Taichi was in shock that he had both of them laid out, and he was kind of didn't know what to do next. That was funny, but the crowd was cheering them on, like, "Come on, bro, you can do this, Taichi. Do it for the culture."
See, I'm telling you, little by little, the people and the doubters and the haters starting to come around on my man.
Yeah, I give it to him. When he not being lazy, he could be a hell of a wrestler sometimes. Just need to get rid of them manties, though.
Some guys who haven't been lazy in quite a while. The Young Bucks, they're challenging for the IWGP Tag Team Heavyweight titles versus Evil and Sonata. Sonata runs wild and gets the skull in. Matt fights, but Sonata swings Matt around and misses the moonsault. We get a spear by Matt, and it completely breaks down. Matt saves Nick. Super kicks to the champions. More bang for your buck follows on Sonata, and we have new IWGP Tag Team Champions.
This was a hell of a match, and I like the fact that Nick was one of the people in the match just selling his injury, and he did a hell of a job, and to show that not just me, but you, like my older brother, I could sell I could sell just as good. So I really enjoyed that, and it's just I was kind of sad to see Sonata and Eva drop the title, but it opened up more opportunities for other things later on in card. But this was a really good match.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. So after the match, Matt hires Don Callis to be the color commentator for All In. So Don Callis was excited.
Mm-hmm. I'm all in. Even Don got in All In before your little homie. Flip Golden.
Rey Mysterio, Jushin Thunder Liger, and Tanahashi versus Marty Scurll, Cody, and Adam Page. Liger goes for a series of pins. Then we get the Shote to Cody, and that gets a 2 count. It breaks down, and then Ray hits 619s, and we get dives to the floor. Liger hits a top rope runner on Cody, but Cody fights back, and he hits the crossroads, and Cody gets the pin on Liger. So Marty Scurll, Cody, and Adam Page get the win.
On service, you probably would have think that with Ray making his debut, he would win the match, but the end result actually fits their plans for the future. So I kind of guess where we were going later in the show. But it was a good, nice little 6-man match, and Scroll was being a bit of a prick, but I kind of like him being a prick. He could do the fun stuff, but also be a heel. I'm fine with you not doing the easy thing to draw chairs. Just be a donkey sometimes, because that's what you're here for.
Rey Mysterio looked great.
Yes, he did.
He was flying around. I don't know. I think somebody might have messed up his little logo there. He had like a kind of, a lucha libre mask on a goat's head. He should have probably had that as the O instead of it being beside the O. But that's just some technical things that he'll probably have us change that next time. But yeah, I really like this match. It was fun. Like you said, Marty Scurll out here just antagonizing three legends, trying to get under their skin. That's pretty fun.
Yeah, he's over and he knows it, so that's what's up.
So before we come into the home stretch, just a reminder that this is Cast of Strong Style. This is Don Delarente. I'm joined by Anwar Starwin, and we are being brought to you on the CSPN, CSPN.us on the web, and also iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, and Google Play. So we have the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title match between Will Ospreay and the ticking time bomb, Takahashi. Takahashi looks for the time bomb. Ospreay counters, and Will hits a series of kicks, and Takahashi is down. We get the Stormbreaker, but it gets countered into the triangle choke. Will fights. He tries to power out, and Takahashi kills Ospreay with the power driver, and then Takahashi hits the Blu-ray. The time bomb connects, and we have a new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion in Hiromu Takahashi.
I watched this match and I was like, how are the semi and main events going to surpass this match? Because I was like, wow, this is one of the better matches I've seen this year, and it's just kind of crazy because they've been in two of the best matches I've seen this year already at Wrestle Kingdom and at New Beginnings. So it's like 3 times already this year I've gotten awesome matches between these two individuals who are basically like the cornerstones of that division. It's cool. I was really happy to see Hiromu get back to where he was last year, and props at Will. He had a really strong run as like junior heavyweight champion, one of the better like runs as champion I've seen. So I've watched this match 2 times already. I'm going to watch it again at some point. So it's definitely a must-see match for people who haven't seen Dominion, if there are people who have not seen Dominion yet, because you're really messing up if you haven't seen Dominion.
For those who would like to know some alternative means to watch these main 3 matches, just go under the hashtag what we are watching. Hashtag what we are watching. Next up, what a lot of people came to see, the IWGP Intercontinental title match between Naito and Chris Jericho. Okay, now what's interesting about this is, Osaka doesn't really fuck with Naito like that. It's still one of the like few places that he still gets booed. The people still don't really care for him. So this was a very interesting dynamic with Jericho coming out here after all the dastardly deeds he's done.
I was told that part of the reason Osaka doesn't really rock with Naito in this current incarnation is because they still fully believe in the Stardust Genius, and they won't let that go. So it's like they feel he can do better than what he's doing in this incarnation, and they'll always believe in that version of Naito.
Yeah, well,
I was told.
That's pretty cool.
Like your parents, like your parents looking at you and you doing some questionable stuff, but like, I know you got better than you than this. That's how they looking Naito and Osaka, I guess.
Jericho counters the flying forearm with a code breaker for a 2 count. They continue to trade moves, and Jericho takes control, but Naito counters the Lionsault and hits the Gloria. The Destino gets countered, and we have a ref bump, and a low blow by Jericho. The Codebreaker finishes it, and we have a new IWGP Intercontinental Champion. It's Chris Jericho.
10 times in the Continental Champion.
I was amazed that he won. This was like a brawl. They didn't have any technical wrestling really to speak of.
There was no technical
in this match. And it was done perfectly because it was no way they were going to follow Hiromu and Will Ospreay with a classic wrestling match. So Jericho, I mean, whooped his ass for like 7 minutes before the match even started in the suit. Yeah. Definitely. And New Japan Pro Wrestling, the only place where you can still see people get take a pile driver on a table.
You gotta be careful with those table spots though, because it was a point in time where you never saw them in Japan. Now you're kind of seeing it too much, so they need to chill out on that. Like all wrestlers in New Japan.
Yeah, I think that and the apron spots are kind of two things that wrestling in general are kind of getting a little bit overboard with.
Yeah, like apron spots, you probably should save that for like really, really bad feuds. Or I really can't stand this person. I want to put serious harm on them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, maybe chill out on that spot too.
Then we get to the main event of the evening. The IWGP heavyweight title match. No time limit. Best 2 out of 3 falls. It's Okada versus Kenny Omega. So the Rainmaker is countered, and Omega hits a V trigger, and that gets a 2 count. Okada counters into a Hurricanrana, and then he hits a Tombstone. The Rainmaker is countered by Omega, but Okada gets the Bulldog sit-down pin and wins the first fall at 28 minutes and 40 seconds. Just a excellent first fall.
It was definitely an excellent first fall, and I was taught that roll-up finishes, like more so in other company that a roll-up finish is basically you got lucky, but if you actually put a dude away with a submission and like submission or regular just strike to put a person out, that's just like I'm better than you. Mm-hmm. That was just clever of Okada. He caught Kenny slipping and put Kenny behind the 8 ball, which kind of fits the overall story. It's a uphill battle for Kenny or anyone else to beat Okada, and why wouldn't it be any different on this night?
Right. So in between falls, we had like a 2-minute rest period. So in the second fall, Okada hits a drop kick, but Omega hits a drop kick of his own. Omega counters the drop kick into a power bomb and follows that by a V trigger. Okada pulls the sit-out pin again, but this time it only gets a 2. Kenny hits a V trigger, then a power driver, and Okada somehow kicks out at 2. The V trigger connects, and then that's followed by the One-Winged Angel, and Kenny ties it at 1 fall apiece at 50 minutes and 10 seconds.
Yeah, that was they said that one right, but at points during that second fall, I was really shook. Like Okada might put this dude away and go 2-0 and go home with the title again. Ending to the fall was really, really crazy, really dope.
Yeah, they had a lot of intrigue on that one.
A lot of shook people.
So again, we get another 2-minute rest period, and then we go into the third and deciding fall. Omega counters the Rainmaker into the One-Winged Angel, and Okada is right. But they can't make the pin. So we get like a Rocky 2 moment as they both try to drag themselves up by the ropes. Omega is the first one to get up. He lands a V trigger. Then he hits a one-winged angel. And Kenny Omega is the new IWGP champion, as Don Callis would say. Hook the leg, hook the leg, hook the leg.
Let's talk about the fact that Okada had Omega beat, but he was so exhausted.
Yeah, he couldn't pin him.
He couldn't take him out with the Rainmaker, where in the previous title match they had, he was strong enough to hit Kenny with the Rainmaker, but Kenny was exhausted and he missed him with it. That right there is excellent storytelling and using callbacks for people to use their own brain to see how that connects. And it also can be a metaphor on how hard Okada has gone through his reign, where to that point he just had nothing left to give.
Yeah, he hit Kenny with that like half a Rainmaker.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he hit him finally with the full Rainmaker, he didn't have anything left to give him. He couldn't get back up. And okay, so they wrestled. The match took in actual time 1 hour and 9 minutes. But if you take out the 4 minutes for the 2 breaks, they wrestled 1 hour and 5 minutes at an incredible pace.
Excellent pace.
It was quite emotional to see Kenny Omega win. I'm not gonna lie. Just
it was very emotional for anybody who's been following him for any number of years. I've been following that guy for a decade. I haven't seen everything, but I've been a fan for a decade. So I started dancing when he actually won. And then I'm out in public dancing, because I'm seeing him win. And I was like, I didn't think he was going to win. I mean, I had my shirt on of him when I was going out. I was hoping he would win, but then he won, and it was such a great payoff for like being a fan or watching, just not just being a fan, but a fan of wrestling and watching them both go back and forth at each other over this year and a half. And really, this storyline really started at G1 Kenny 1, but if you really even go deeper, this really started with the Invasion Attack Championship match between AJ Styles and Kota Ibushi, where Kenny got involved and caused Kota to lose, and that kind of came and play within the match. But it was also a shout out to what happened in the G1 Climax match, where he started hitting all of his friends' maneuvers on Goto. And that call back, like, just like how they connect everything was really great. It's really a payoff for anybody who's watching for years. And it's like, wow, you guys do a great job of setting this up. You can't get super mad if you see the payoff for things. You gotta have patience sometimes in life. But I'm a Marvel Comics fan, so I kind of get this. But it's just like, damn, he hit that Styles Clash, and then the crowd popped and started chanting AJ in this. Just like that match has so many freaking levels to it. And
that was super cool.
It was super cool because we still love you, AJ, even if you're over there and not being able to show what you're capable of. We know you and still love you and appreciate you for what you brought to New Japan. So like fans, the fans make that match even better. It's like on a technical standpoint, you could say, okay, I might rock with one of the other matches in their series more. But the combination of overall story, payoff, and if you say this is the favorite match in this series, I can't get mad at you. If you think this is the best match you've ever seen, I can't get mad at you either because it's done so well and executed so well by these two parties, and it's like I can't really think of no other federation that could tell this level of story over this amount of time. The only thing close to this in emotional impact is Gargano versus Ciampa. That's the only thing close right now in wrestling as far as like that emotional story. It's just those two should be proud of themselves. Like Okada is the best like champion I've seen. Like, and I've been around watching wrestling for many decades. It is matches I didn't see during Ric Flair's run, and Ric Flair is one of the greatest champions ever. But this Okada championship is something special, and I'm glad I was able to watch almost all of it.
The level of just how well that they paced the match. They started off with the chain wrestling. Then they got to a level of they kind of had to strip it down because they know each other's stuff. So they were countering. And that's why that sit out move worked so well as a first fall win, because it was something that Kenny wasn't expecting. He was going for it. He was countering something and got caught. Like you said, just the level of the storytelling and going back, like, okay, so my story goes Wrestle Kingdom had to be 14. Wrestle Kingdom 12, where the Young Bucks were, and I saw like Red Dragon and all these people for the first time. Kenny Omega was the one guy that kind of stood out, like, oh, he's got the Terminator gimmick, he's got the just the video game stuff. It's like, okay, he's got some other stuff with him. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I kind of like that dude. Then the next thing you know, he like wins the junior championship. And then he's like, well, I've done that. Then he's like, I'm going to turn heavyweight. And then he like is running the Bullet Cup, kicks AJ Styles out. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm all in on this dude. Let's go. And so, yeah, like you said, just a great 1.5-year story of just these two guys trying to top themselves. I still think the 60-minute draw is my favorite one, and then this is number 2.
You could go with that. I think so. If you want to split the difference, you could say favorite is that match, and the best is this match because it pays off everything. And I'm thinking about the fact that the overarching story is you don't have to do your friend stuff to be successful, because just being you is good enough. It goes back to like how he hit all those his friends' finishers, but when it came down to it, his finisher was just on all that he needed, and that's a great like lesson to people that you don't need to be anybody but yourself to succeed.
And the one-winged angel is still a one-and-done move. Nobody's ever kicked out of it.
Protected match, a very protected maneuver. So whoever kicks out of that, whoo!
Yeah, it's gonna set the.
I think they're gonna have to say that. They're gonna have to say that for Okada.
Set the world on fire.
Okada for sure. I think he should have that.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna set the world on fire. Whoever kicks out of that. So post-match, the Bucks arrive as Omega sits over fallen Okada. Omega celebrates with Ibushi and sees the Bucks, and they embrace. Ibushi joins in, and we're all friends. Okada is helped to the back, and as Omega celebrates with the championship, Ibushi straps the belt on Kenny. Omega then addresses the crowd and says he's accomplished a lot in his career and finally accomplished his goal of winning the title. This match made him see the future of wrestling, and that's why he'll stay here and take the next step. Omega puts over Okada and the Bucks as handsome, wonderful athletes that will do all of this together. What they did here is a miracle, as they were always told they aren't good enough or should take the payday. They made their own rules, and with his friends and lovers by his side, they can do anything. I'm tired and almost died, so goodbye and good night. Cody then arrives to steal the moment. He walks halfway down the ramp, but then he turns around and leaves. Coda and the Bucks hoist Kenny Omega on their shoulders in celebration. And that's how we end Dominion, with the confetti falling down, and the big belt is on Kenny Omega.
I I like how he pushed away the title belt when it was about to be presented and chose to hug his friends because at the end that was more important to him than that championship.
Mm-hmm.
It's great stuff in that. Like, it's a lot of different stories paid off in that match.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. Oh, what we didn't talk about though is Evil after the match, after Jericho won, he hit Naito with the belt, the title belt. Then he started beating up Naito, and that made Evil come out and run him off. So we might have some
That
Evil
that
Jericho
made me
action coming up.
happy. And watching the backstage where Naito was laid out and Evil came and picked him up and took him to the dressing room, that was a really sweet moment.
I got to go back and watch that.
You gotta go. I gotta go back and watch some of the backstage stuff because it's a lot of stuff. Because after the match, my boy Despy came out and put that challenge down on Hiromu, so it's gone. It's gone. It's on the road. It's gonna be lit.
Yeah, definitely gonna be lit.
I don't know the Reddit. I can't remember the Reddit poster, but they kind of figured out who Desperado could potentially be. So that adds another element to that whole thing with Hiromu, because supposedly he was Desperado's teammate in his previous incarnation when they were young lions. So you got to go dig through the cage match profile to figure that one out.
Before we wrap it up, what did you think about Harold Mage? Did you see the opening?
I didn't watch that because I just wanted to get to the action, but I will watch it at some points. But
I can't even talk to you about this.
I wish him well. I hope he does this thing, but you got to be careful about having all those gaijins as champions in a Japanese promotion. You got to be careful about that because Canada really killed it on that show. But when you're a Japanese promotion and a lot of your champions are white people, that could be I don't know. You got to be careful about that.
Yeah.
I see the long-term goals and what you're trying to achieve and branching out into different countries, but just be very, very careful about that. Hiromu getting that championship is important to not bring spotlight on that too much. And Kenny's basically Japanese, so you can't really look at that much. So
yeah, on the morality clause, the Mike Elgin having a title is a knock, but the rest of the guys are pretty upstanding.
That's true. You probably shouldn't have Michael Elgin at that Cow Palace show.
Yeah, I don't think that would be a good idea.
Put him on that show. That's not a good look.
How
do you feel about the weird controversy popping up about New Japan should have a women's division because they're like a national promotion going forward?
I don't think they should succumb to the peer pressure of just putting out a women's division for the PR of it.
I don't think they should do it either if they're not going to be committed to it.
Right.
And I don't feel too good about them going from other, cherry picking and taking talent from other companies, because those wrestlers are needed for those companies to be successes.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason they should do that is if they really want to do it, and I don't think we should force them or create this issue onto them. I'm about equality and opportunity for everyone, but you got to also understand in Japan, Joshi does Joshi and are not about being second tier or third tier to any other Caruso movement. They are their own thing. So if you want to see Joshi wrestling, it's a lot of Joshi promotions in Japan. You got Oz Academy. You got the Sendai Girls. You got Ice Ribbon. You got so many. Like you got. I'm forgetting some right now, but it's a lot. It's you're definitely worth Stardom. Stardom is probably one of the better ones too. You can see a lot of different type of talent. So that's where I'm on that. Please don't kill me on my mentions because of that. But that's just how I feel on that. And just another little thing to slip in. If we had a sign and trade option between like in Japan and WWE, who would you sign and trade to get Neville to New Japan?
Send to WWE to get Neville.
Yes.
That's a good question.
I saved some good questions for you. I don't want people taking our stuff.
Yeah, I don't know because I kind of like everybody they got. Can we just give them more money and not lose anybody?
Put money in it. Since they like big horse dudes and guys who talk trash, let's sign and trade. We'll give you some money, and we sign and trade Kira Squad for Neville.
Okay, yeah. David Boy Smith get back into WWE. That would be like a legacy.
Yeah,
and a win for him.
And they could have Archer just be that big, scary monster dude that talks trash.
Yeah, that might work. Vince likes the big guys.
Yeah, and Neville could be free because it just hurts my heart to see Neville not be able to apply his craft because he's one of the best wrestlers on the world.
Yeah. The things that when you speak up in certain companies, it's to your detriment.
Yeah, I respect him for speaking up and knowing his value. I just hope he gets out of there, but I can't really figure any sign and trades. Like who would like on the WWE and who they would sign a trade to get. So say if Kenny's at the end of his deal, who would you sign a trade for Kenny to get him to like WWE?
Because these two probably need to wrestle each other. My first thought would be Seth Rollins. You would just do a swap.
Interesting.
Because they're kind of the same guy.
Yeah, and Seth takes a lot of stuff from him and other Japanese wrestlers. I still love Seth even despite him doing that. That's an even trade. What I would do is like I would try to be sneaky like Vince, trade old for young. I would I would trade Fergal. Who else I would give them? I would trade Fergal and give them Cesaro. That's a very fair deal, but WWE don't really know what they have in Cesaro, so that would be like, okay, we're going to lose this guy anyway, so you have Kenny and give us Fergal and Cesaro, and I could just put Fergal right back at the top of Bullet Club and keep right back where I need it, and right in the mid, and I could put him right in the main event. I could flip him, switch him between junior heavyweights if I feel the need. I could put him with a tag team with Ishimori. So it's a lot of different things you can do with Fergal. So that would be my trade. And with Cesaro, you can do anything with him because that dude is a great wrestler. So it don't matter.
Yeah, that's some interesting things to think about because I was saying that the only people in WWE that I would even like to see do a no time limit type 2 out of 3 falls match like Omega and Okada did would probably be AJ and Seth Rollins.
That'd be interesting, yes.
Yeah, I think they could go at a pace that they could keep that thing live the whole time.
True.
Yeah, so just your overall thoughts of the event. Was it the greatest pay-per-view ever.
I trying to like actually do research on things, and I have like the older you are in fandoms, you have a lot of years to think about. I'm not one to just jump out and say this is the greatest ever. Sometimes that thing just clicks inside and you just know. I didn't really get that click because of the first match, maybe the first two matches, which were really good. Well, the second match was pretty good. Like if you really focus on the second match for to the rest of the card, it's definitely one of the best pay-per-views I've ever seen. Like you mentioned, WrestleMania 17 probably would be like those two, right? Dominion and WrestleMania 17 are one two of the best. I don't know which one is better. I could probably see someone go either way on that one. I don't mean to be a flake on it, but that's really tough when you watch so much wrestling.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, this had definitely the payoff, the big memorable moment of Kenny winning the title, and basically it kind of put the reset button on what we're gonna have going forward through G1 and into the next, Wrestle Kingdom. Basically, I don't really
That
see the
post match,
titles changing, until we get back to Wrestle Kingdom.
that post match promo, he pretty much like stated in a way we're going to see Naito versus Omega eventually. I don't know when we're going to see it, but we're going to see it. Hopefully, they could hold that match until Wrestle Kingdom, because that definitely can main event and be a great match to start the year on.
Mm-hmm.
Because those two, they have nothing but classes when they face each other. Nothing but classes when those two face each other, and they need to protect that match, and they also need to protect Ibushi Omega like they've done. So that would be killer if we get that from Wrestle Kingdom or even King of Pro Wrestling or one of those shows. But I would want to see that Wrestle Kingdom. Like that way, if you have it at Wrestle Kingdom, you could
finally give Naito his
get him that main event win without actually have to give him that win and beat Okada on it, because that's you're saving that Okada Naito Wrestle Kingdom match in the future. That would be that's smart right there, because you could do something. It's like man, yeah. Just say you got to. What I love about this company, they rarely give away big matches. They save those for big occasions. So I'm waiting.
Well, I think it's because of the way that they run their schedule, where they'll give you like a burst, and then they might take like a week off.
Yep.
And then they might give you like another quick burst, and then they might take like 3 or 4 days off, and then they give you like another quick burst, and then they might take 2 weeks off.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't ever give you, they give you just enough, and then all of a sudden when the big show comes around, boom, there it is. You get that Will Ospreay Takahashi classic, like a 4.5 star match leading into, and that's the third match from the end. Like, what?
Somebody, I think it was Evan Deadly Sins or something, I think that's his name, pointed out the fact that over the last couple of years, the junior heavyweight championship match was slowly moved up the card. I'm hoping that trend continues in that semi-main events next year on Dominion.
Yeah, they've had the last 2 years especially, they've had some fantastic matches on Dominion, junior heavyweight matches. So all in all, fantastic card. Like I said, if you want to watch the last 3 matches in particular, search the hashtag what we are watching, and you'll find an alternative means in which you can watch those. So please check those out. Anwar, I'm going to turn the podium over to you so you can give your shout outs and thank yous.
Thank you for everyone who interacts with me on Twitter and who helped me become better at watching wrestling and pointing out things I miss, because sometimes I miss it. So I appreciate all of you, and thanks for listening.
All right. I'd like to give a big shout out to Anwar Starwin. I'd like to give a big shout out to our co-host, that can't be here, but always here in spirit, Miss JPK Moto, Moto Omega, as we like to call her. You're a champion. How about that? Give a shout out to everybody who uses the hashtag Cast Strong Style, all the new people who found the podcast through the hashtag. We appreciate it very much. So please continue to listen and go to cspn.us. Please support our sponsors. There's only a couple of days left to get your dad something cool. If you're an Amazon Prime member, you don't have to worry. Go to Amazon through cspn.us. Go to cspn.us, click on the banner that says keep our podcast free. Go down to the Amazon link, click on that, buy something for your dad. It'll give some money back to CSPN so we can keep Cast a Strong Style free each and every podcast that we do here on the CSPN. So CSPN and Amazon, do it today. And so on that note, for my co-host, Anwar Starwin, I'm Don Delarente, and this has been episode 19 of Cast a Strong Style.